There you go.
I'd just like to welcome those here today online and in person. So our council meeting for the 1st of December 2025, so this is our last official council meeting for the year. It's been a big year, it's been lots on our minutes and meetings previously, and going to be, I suppose, big for the next month, for the festive season. We have lots of meetings and lots of things on. Just on behalf of council, I just wish everyone a very, very Merry Christmas and enjoy the festive season when it comes about. So I'll now get all our councillors to stand for the affirmation. We recognise the traditional owners of the land. We are inspired by the early pioneers and by those who gave their lives for our country. We now ask God's blessing on our deliberations and on our commitment to build a better lifestyle and environment. This council meeting is being recorded and live streamed to council's YouTube channel. The recording will also be made available on council's website. Whilst all care has been taken to ensure that your privacy is maintained, please be aware that your presence may be recorded. I'll just call for any apologies and leave of absence. So we just have Councillor Karen Probes as an apology for today's meeting. She has another council commitment on today. So just a show of hands that leave of absence be granted. Okay, so that's carried. So item 2, there's no other apologies and leave of absence. We're going to item 2, confirmation of minutes. So we have 2 minutes there. So one on Monday, 10th of November. That's the confirmation of the minutes of the council meeting. So someone to say that they've read them and they are happy with those minutes.
I move that the minutes as listed, copies of which have been circulated, be confirmed and adopted.
I will second that, thank you.
Okay, all in favour? Okay, that's been seconded. That's carried. Any matters arising from the minutes? No, there's no presentations or awards. So we'll go into item 5. Presentation of petitions and joint letters. So we have one petition.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to move that the petition seeking a pump track to be built in Stawell be received.
I'd like to second that.
Okay, Councillor Greenberger, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The council has been informed and a copy of the letter and the petition has been received by council, and by accepting that, it will allow the petitioner's request to be investigated and it will be reported to a subsequent council meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Hyde, would you like to speak?
Nothing further needed to be added to that. Thank you.
Okay, so any councillor like to speak for or against the motion? Okay, we have no councillors wish to speak for or against the motion. So Councillor Greenberg, would you like to sum up?
Nothing further.
Okay, so I'll call for a show of hands that the petition seeking a pump track to be built in Stawell be received. Okay, that is carried. So now going to item 6, disclosure of a conflict of interest at a council meeting. So does anyone have a conflict of interest that they wish to disclose?
Yes, I've got a conflict of interest in 9.1.1.
Thank you, Councillor Jack Blake. Anyone else have any conflicts?
Yes, Mayor, I have a conflict in 9.1.4, appointment of Store Aerodrome Advisory Group, the reason being I hold an asset out at the Store Airport.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde.
Yes, Mayor, I have a conflict on 14.4 in the closed council agenda. It's about my appraisal, so the conflict is pretty obvious. Thank you.
Okay, any further conflicts of interest? No. Okay, we'll go into item 7, informal meeting of councillors. We just have a resolution there.
Yes, Mayor, I move that the minutes of the informal meetings of council be accepted. Sorry? Oh, where am I? That the report of the informal minutes of the councils be approved. Got there.
Okay, Councillor Hyde. Someone to second that?
Yes, I'll second that, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Just a show of hands, those in favour? Okay, that's carried. We're going to item 8, items brought forward. There were no items brought forward. We're now going to item 9, considerations of reports of officers. So our first agenda item 9.1.1, health, wellbeing and community, live it up. 9.1.1, community care decision. Councillor Blake has a conflict. Okay, so we have quite a lengthy officer's report there. We have a recommendation. Somebody to move a recommendation.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I move that Council, A, commence consulting and investigating its community care services, including Commonwealth Home Support Program, Home and Community Care Program for young people, and Veterans Home Care, including both continuation and withdrawal options for service delivery and funding across the following service categories: domestic assistance, personal care, respite and social support, delivered meals and brokered services. B, undertake an assessment of the financial sustainability, service demand, regulatory requirements and community impact to inform service options. And C, prepare a report outlining findings, options and recommendations for consideration of the July 2026 council meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Is there someone to second that motion?
I'm happy to second that, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. So, Councillor Greenberger, would you like to address the council on the motion?
Yes, thank you. I'm sure everyone in our community would be very aware about the New Aged Care Act 2024 that requires Northern Grampians Shire Council to reassess its in-home aged care, known as community care services. Under the new Act, councillors are now designated responsible persons with statutory due diligence obligations. Council currently serves approximately 380 active clients across Stawell, St Arnaud and regional areas, delivering domestic assistance, personal care, meal services primarily through Commonwealth Home Support Program funding. From July 2027, the shift from block funding to fee-for-service payment creates significant challenges. Payment received in arrears rather than upfront, unpredictable revenue and cash flow volatility, substantially increased administrative requirements and an uncertain pricing framework. With 26.8% of residents aged 65 and over versus 16.8% statewide, projected to reach 36.2% by 2036, service demand will intensify significantly as the population ages. Council must decide whether to continue direct service delivery or transition to a stewardship role. Continuing maintains community trust and local responsiveness, but carries financial risks and personal councillor liability. Exiting reduces risk, but requires ensuring continued service access through alternative providers. Council must consider how to balance financial sustainability, governance obligations, and commitment to older residents' wellbeing in an increasingly complex regulatory environment. So, Mayor, I think to conduct this review over the next 6 months before having to make this difficult decision is incredibly important because ultimately there's so much unpredictability that the changes with the New Age Care Act are bringing in, and we need to be very sure, whichever way we go, that our older residents are well looked after, and I assure everybody that that is definitely our goal. So whichever way we deserve, we'll be making sure our older residents are well cared for, but we also have to take responsibility for the financial sustainability of council. And if the risks are in fact too great, we need to know early and make sure that we make a responsible change if there's anything required. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. So, Councillor Hyde, would you like to add anything to that?
I think Councillor Greenberger has said it fairly well, but basically we're recommending this course of action so that some questions can be answered. With this investigation of the community care services, we will see which service delivery model is sustainable under the new funding framework. Can council remain financially viable, and at what level of ratepayer subsidy is acceptable? And how will community access and service quality be maintained regardless of council's role? So 2024, across the whole state, as most know, there's 79 councils. Only 29 of those councils are still in or delivering community care services. So for us to evaluate is very much reasonable and the best way forward for our community.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Any other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Greenberger, did you wish to sum up?
No, nothing further to add. Thank you, Mayor.
So at this moment, it is a review of a service. We often do review services. That's part of what we do being on council. And yeah, it is a review of the service at this present time. So I'll just call for a show of hands. Those in favour of the resolution. Okay, thank you. That's carried. So 9.1.2, Domestic Animal Management Plan, 2025 to 29. So once again, we have quite a lengthy report from the officers. So there's lots of information to read, and we have a recommendation there.
Yes, Mayor. I move that Council endorses the Domestic Animal Management Plan, otherwise known as the DAMP, 2025 to 2029, in accordance with the requirements of the Domestic Animal Act 1994. and submits and endorse the plan to the Secretary of Department of Energy, Environment and Climate Action by the 4th of December 2025.
Do I have a seconder for that motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. So, Councillor Hyde, would you like to address the council on the motion?
Sure. The DAMP is a statutory requirement for all Victorian councils, prescribed by the Domestic Animal Act 1994. The plan provides a statutory framework for managing domestic animals within the Shire. It outlines strategies and responsibilities of pet owners, animal welfare and compliance requirements. The plan incorporates community feedback, sets measurable objectives and demonstrates Council's commitment to continuous improvement in animal management practices. So the Council did undertake engagement via the website and social media. Community feedback was open from Monday the 6th of October and it closed on the 19th of October, and there were 2 responses from the entire Shire which were considered in the end development of the plan.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Councillor Greenberger.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to add that management of animals often comes up as an issue for Council, the responsible authority, and that this plan really outlines the capacity that Council has and the willingness that Council has to manage this issue in our community. So therefore I really hope that people will have a look at the plan. It will be on the website once it's endorsed by Council, but if you are worried about domestic dogs and so on, or stray sheep on the road or whatever, the plan's there, and therefore you can find out how to provide that information to Council and how that information will be acted upon. So, thank you.
Is there any other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? So, Councillor Hyde, do you wish to add anything else?
No, nothing further to add. Thank you, Mayor.
No, I just wanted to, there was just some statistics that I found really quite interesting. So we have 1.53 full-time employees, community safety officers, 0.36 pound attendance. So in the last year we've had barking dogs 33 complaints, wandering dogs 120, cat trap requests 78. So in our pound we've adopted 95 of those animals that were impounded, and 110 of them were reclaimed. So obviously a very busy area when you look at those statistics, and I imagine given the staff and the amount of workload, I imagine they're fairly quite busy. But yeah, the domestic animal management plan is a legislated document, and yeah, we've all had a read of it and we're quite happy with it. So I'll now put that to the motion. Those in favour? Okay, so that's carried. So 9.1.3 Multicultural Action Plan.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to move that the Council adopts the Multicultural Action Plan 2025 to 2028.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger.
I'm happy to second that, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. So, Councillor Greenberger, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Mayor.
This
motion. Plan in particular gives me a great amount of pride to move that it be adopted. I've been very involved with our multicultural community for many, many years now, since I was working as the manager of the Stall Neighbourhood House, and we did see quite an influx of people moving to our area for employment. And there were a couple of initiatives by Council, the OPAN project and the AIMS project, which really started the ball rolling. And certainly at the time we were very concerned that while there are huge benefits for bringing new people to Australia, but particularly bringing new people to Stall, that the community really wasn't prepared at that point to make the most of their presence and to help them to feel welcome. So the council committed to a multicultural plan back in 2023, and it really does reflect the vital role that our migrant workforce plays in meeting regional industry demand, and our council's role in understanding and supporting the needs of what is an increasingly multicultural community in the municipality. And I'm a firm believer that our community is far better for the involvement of our multicultural community in our town, not only through employment but also through our sports. Many of them have really revitalised our soccer and our football and many other sports in the area, and also culturally, having the multicultural events that we've been hosting in recent times. So the review actually helped council understand the makeup and experiences of the Shire's multicultural community. It explored community sentiment towards multiculturalism, and the research was able to identify any barriers to inclusion and opportunities for participation, and to raise awareness of our cultural diversity, and diverse indeed it is. So the overall aim of the Multicultural Action Plan is to foster a more cohesive and inclusive community where individuals from all backgrounds feel welcome, included and respected. And much of this work is done through partnerships and collaborations, and those things will be vital moving forward. The work is building capacity both in the community and within council to support and promote a safe and inclusive multicultural community. And so I very much recommend that we adopt the plan, and thank all those staff members who were involved in developing it.
Thank you. Well said. Councillor Hyde, would you like to address the meeting?
I think Councillor Greenberger has summed it up very nicely, and just add that the engagement process, which took place from the 29th of September until the 12th of October, did reach over 400 residents from approximately 30 different language backgrounds. So it's a wonderful document, and very much support it.
Okay, any other councillor want to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Greenberger, do you wish to sum up?
Nothing further to add, thank you, Mayor.
Okay, I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? Okay, that's unanimously carried. So 9.1.4, appointment of Stawell Aerodrome Advisory Group. So Councillor Hyde has a conflict. Okay, so we have a officer's report there, and we have a recommendation. Need someone to...
Thank you, Mayor. This particular community group, I have the privilege of having represented council on, so it gives me pleasure to move the recommendation that the council appoints the following people or their proxy to the Stawell Aerodrome Advisory Group: Zach Portelli from Pays Air Services, Grant Harrison from Aero Restorations, John Kennedy, Signs of Tomorrow, Rob McIntosh, AG Airwork, Paul Reichenbach from DECA, and Lauren Todman also from DECA. And B, approves the reviewed terms of reference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I second that. That'll be great.
Thank you, Councillor Blake. So, Councillor Greenberger, did you to address the council on the motion?
The Stawell Aerodrome Advisory Group, we're very fortunate to have a very well-managed airport in Stawell. The advisory group provides advice on the implementation of the Stawell Aerodrome Master Plan, which was prepared a couple of years ago. It enables the identification of opportunities for long-term economic investment in the aerodrome to benefit the region, and it provides support for the strategic management and development of the aerodrome and its surrounds. And how important is that aerodrome in the fighting of fires if we happen to be unfortunate to have them in our area. 4 nominations were received for the available user community positions, and as the number of nominations did not exceed the available positions, assessment against the selection criteria was not required. Each appointed person shall be appointed to serve a 4-year term until 30th of November 2029, and the terms of reference have been reviewed and updated to align with the current membership structure. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Councillor Blake, would you like to add anything to that? No?
No, nothing more to add.
Okay, any other councillor like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Greenberger, would you like to sum up?
No, nothing further to add, thanks, Mayor.
Okay, I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? Okay, so unanimously carried. Thanks. Can't really knock on the door, can you? Okay, 9.2, Housing Skills and Education, build it up. 9.2.1, Amendment C64 St Arnaud Framework Plan.
I move that Council A considers all submissions received to Planning Scheme Amendment C64NGRA in accordance with Section 22(1) of the Planning and Environmental Act 1987 in Attachment 2. B, endorses the officer's comments and response to the matters raised in the submissions received to the Planning Scheme Amendment C64NGRA in Attachment 1. C, adopts Amendment C64NGRA to the Northern Grampians Planning Scheme in accordance to Section 29(1) of the Planning and Environment Act 1987 in the form of Attachment 3. D, authorises the Director, Strategy, Prosperity and Engagement to submit and adopt Amendment C64NGRA to the Minister for Planning, requesting approval in accordance with Section 31(1) of the Planning and Environmental Act 1987. E, submits the information prescribed under Section 31 of the Planning and Environmental Act 1987 with the adopted amendment, including a description of and reasons for the changes made to the amendment C64NGRA between the displaying and the adoption. F, authorises the Director, Strategy, Prosperity and Engagement to make minor changes to the amendment package where changes do not impact the intent of the proposed amendment. And G, notifies all submitters of the Council's determination in relation to Amendment C64NGRA.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Would anyone like to second that?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to second that recommendation.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Councillor Hyde, would you like to address the Council on the motion?
Sure. The St Arnaud Township Framework Plan is a key council strategy developed to guide future land use and development outcomes in St Arnaud in a manner that respects the township's heritage and character while minimising impacts to rural, industrial and agricultural land and exposed to risks such as bushfire and flooding. So the framework provides greater certainty to council, developers, businesses, residents and community over the level of change to St Arnaud in the future by setting out the framework to achieve appropriate land use and development outcomes for housing, commercial and industrial development in St Arnaud, and 2, identifying further strategic work to guide land use and development decisions. Northern Grampians Planning Scheme Amendment C64NGRA, the amendment, gives effect to the recommendations of the framework plan by including new policy in the planning scheme to guide land use and development decisions for St Arnaud. It was publicly displayed, and of the proposed amendment occurred between the 6th of August 2025 and the 7th of September 2025 and attracted a total of 6 submissions. A total of 1 submission objected to the amendment, 3 submissions requested changes to the amendment, and 2 submissions either supported the amendment or did not raise concern. Council officers undertook further consultation with those people and changed the amendment as displayed in response to those submissions. The submitters have been advised and they are satisfied with those changes to resolve the issue. As there are no outstanding submissions that request changes to the amendment, it is recommended that Council adopt the amendment with changes and submit the amendment to the Minister of Planning, seeking approval of the amendment with changes.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Councillor Greenberger, did you wish to speak?
Thank you, Mayor. Just also to note that the changes have not raised any sustainability issues, economic, social, environmental or climate change, or heritage, cultural amenity, human rights, gender equality, privacy, risk management, budgetary or asset management implications for Council. So I would be happy to support the changes to the scheme. Thank you.
Okay, any other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Hyde, did you wish to sum up?
Nothing further to add, thanks, Mayor.
I would just like to add that this document has been an incredible lot of work. There's been a lot of community consultation in the initial proposed planning of this. There's been a lot of work from officers. It just seems to have taken a long time to get to where we've got to, but well done on the officers, and it's a very, very important document for the St Arnaud Township, so I'm very excited to have it to this stage. So I will now ask for people, if we have a show of hands, those in support? Okay, so that's unanimously carried. So 9.5, infrastructure, finance and corporate services, do it well. 9.5.1, council meeting schedule 2026.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would like to move that Council adopts the proposed meeting schedule for 2026 as listed in the report attached to the minutes.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Is someone to second that motion?
Yes, after reviewing it, I think that it'll work out well. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blake. So, Councillor Greenberger, did you wish to address Council on the motion?
Yes, thank you. The schedule does nominate the council meetings for 2026, and I would like people to note that there is a proposed change that we will be now meeting on a Tuesday rather than a Monday to give councillors a little bit more time to prepare their reading for each council meeting. But we have retained the idea of alternating council meetings, install 1 month and St Arnaud the next month. So the schedule as is fairly well per this year, except that it will be on a Tuesday each month rather than a Monday.
Perfect. Councillor Blake, would you like to add to that?
Yeah, nothing more to add. Thank you.
Okay, any councillor like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Greenberger, would you like to sum up?
No, nothing further to add. Thank you.
Going to be a bit of a change going from Mondays to Tuesdays, but I'm sort of quite looking forward to it. Nothing wrong with having a change sometimes. So I will now put that that motion to the vote. Those in favour? Okay. Anyone against? Right. So that's been carried. So 9.5.2, appointment of council committee delegates representatives, 2026.
Yes, I'm happy to move that the council appoints the councillor and officer delegates for 2026 as detailed in the attached report.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Someone to second that?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm happy to second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. So, Councillor Hyde, would you like to address the council on the motion?
Sure. The councillors and officers commit to representing council through involvement with a number of advisory committees, organisations and support groups. This involvement includes, but is not limited to, attending meetings, providing advocacy and acting as a conduit through which the group's ideas and plans are communicated to council. So we have a very broad range of different committees that we have all put our hand up to be involved with, and across the entire Shire we're getting continuous regular interaction into different areas, which is really useful from hearing from our communities through these community groups, among other things that we do. So we have now resolved to allocate who's on what for 2026.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Councillor Greenberger, would you like to say anything to the motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The subject of those meetings that councillors attend are often reported in our councillor contributions that we conduct each meeting, where councillors might report on meetings that they've attended and any issues that might have come up in those meetings, as information for fellow councillors and also for the broader community. So it is good that we've invited to be part of those committees, and it does serve a very useful purpose for council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Would any councillor like to speak for or against the motion? Okay, Councillor Hyde, would you like to sum up?
Nothing further to add. Thank you, Mayor.
So we have made a few minor changes to the previous year's delegations, but there's a wide representation, that's for sure. We are on lots of committees. So I will now put that to the vote. All those in favour? Okay, that's unanimously carried. So 9.5.3, S5 Instrument of Delegation Review.
Mayor, I'd like to recommend that Council, in exercise of the power conferred by Section 11(1)(b) of the Local Government Act 2020 and all other powers enabling it, Council delegates to the member of Council staff holding, acting in or performing the position of Chief Executive Officer the powers, duties and functions set out in the attached revised Instrument of Delegation.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger.
I'm happy to second that. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Councillor Greenberger, would you like to address the council on the motion?
Yes, the delegation authority is a particularly important instrument of council, that it enables the day-to-day business of council to continue without having to come back to council for every decision. The instrument of delegation, the financial delegation, has not been increased for the CEO for a number of years, and so the purpose of this motion is to bring that up to speed to deal with the high levels of cost increases that have come up more recently. In the report seeking to amend the S5 Instrument of Delegation, we recommend that the amount the CEO can enter into a contract increase from $150,000 to $350,000, that we amend the amount the CEO is authorised to expend from $600,000 amend the amount the CEO is authorised to expend from 600 to 800,000, rewording of amendments to the S5 delegation instrument to remove the distinction between goods and services and works contracts, and remove the reference to expenditures for litigation related to staff settlements. So it is a substantial change, but it is important to note that any expenditure by the CEO has to be within budget. So if it takes expenditure in that area outside of budget, then it would definitely come back to council. And it is certainly the goal of this council that we do keep our finances in a balanced way. So even though the figure sounds a lot of money, the costs involved now so substantially increased that we do believe that this is an appropriate level of delegation. Thank you, Mayor.
Well said. So, Councillor Hyde, would you like to speak to the motion?
I think Councillor Greenberger has covered it all, but we have all read and considered all of these changes very carefully, so thank you.
So, any other councillor like to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Greenberger, do you wish to sum up?
Nothing further to add, thank you, Mayor.
Yeah, I'd just like to add, looks like they are quite significant changes, and they are changes, but we do control any spending through the budget, and any changes to the budget need an approved variation to the budget. And yeah, we do monitor our budgets very carefully. So I will now put this to the vote. All those in favour? Okay, unanimously carried. So 9.5.4, Infrastructure Program 2025-26, proposed amendments.
Yes, I move that Council adopts the amended Infrastructure Program of 2025 to 2026.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Somebody second that motion?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. So, Councillor Hyde, would you like to address the council on the motion?
Sure. The Road Safety Improvement Program requires a number of updates following eligibility checks, design work and funding adjustments. These changes ensure the program fits within the $2 million allocation and can be delivered as intended, with flexibility if scope needs to shift during delivery. A key update is the reframing of the Lygar Street works into a single roundabout package covering up to 3 intersections. These will be delivered in priority order, and the final number constructed will depend on the available budget as the program progresses. Other updates include removing projects that are not eligible at this stage and adjusting budgets to reflect the latest costings. Approval is also needed to add further projects so that the council remains eligible to participate in Tranche 2 of the Safer Local Roads and Streets program.
Okay, Councillor Hyde, thank you. Councillor Greenberger, did you wish to add anything?
I think Councillor Hyde has explained it quite well. Other than to say that, again, this is responsive to feedback that we've had from the community, particularly with regards to Liebig Street. Is that right? Yeah. Lygar Street, sorry, Liebig Street's in Warrnambool. Lygar Street, you know, while there is no guarantees that we'll be able to make the changes, this recommendation gives us the capacity to respond if finances allow us to do so. So we do try to plan these infrastructure projects well ahead and very carefully, but it's also possible to adjust them where required. So I recommend this motion to everyone.
Okay, may other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Hyde, did you wish to sum up?
Nothing further to add. Thank you, Mayor. Yeah,
I just want to add there has been a few changes to the infrastructure program proposed amendments. Obviously, they're amendments. The reason that they're being made is so that hopefully we can be eligible for further funding. So they need to be in our proposed works so that we can apply for funding. So that's why the changes are. So we have a recommendation that Council adopts the amended infrastructure programs 2025-2026. I'll just call for a show of hands. Those in favour? Those against? Okay, so that's carried. So 9.5.5, formal road naming, Mornane Lane.
Yeah, I would go with the name, the renaming of the unnamed road of Holloway Road East, install Mornane Lane, because it's a lady that everyone recognises around town, and I think it's a really good thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Someone to second that?
I'm happy to second that motion. Thank you.
Councillor Hyde, thank you. So Councillor Blake, do you want to address the council on the motion?
Yeah, so I think it's one of these things that this lady is really well known around town, which was really well known around town. That's touched a lot of people, and I really think that it's truly justified of the work that she's done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blake. Councillor Hyde?
Council did engage in the consultation process from the 7th of October through to the 17th of November, and I think we've gone through all the possibilities, and the end result was decided and agreed from by all, because she is not only was a mentor, a role model, highly respected by her students, colleagues and the wider community. Her exceptional kindness, dedication and service have left a long-lasting impression on all those who knew her. I unfortunately did not, but from the sounds of everything that I've heard, what a fantastic woman she was.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Any councillor wish to speak for or against the motion?
Yes, Mayor, I'll be supporting the motion, but I just wanted to point out that there may be some who thought that we had already decided to name the lane, but in actual fact there is a process that we need to go through. The last motion was a requirement to advertise that we were going to make the change. Now we're making the change. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Blake, did you wish to sum up?
Nothing more to say except for, congratulations. Thank you. Yes, beautiful. Thank you.
I'd just like to add that on Monday the 6th of October, Council resolved to give public notice of its intention to name the unnamed road of Holloway Road East. And that did create a little bit of there was lots of comments on Facebook and lots of lovely comments, lots of memories that people had of Mrs. Mornane, which I thought that was just lovely. I loved reading all the comments. So I will now ask for a show of hands that the motion be approved. Those in favour? Okay, that's unanimously carried. So 9.5.6, Audit and Risk Committee Charter and Guidelines.
I move that the Audit and Risk Committee Charter and Guidelines be adopted.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Somebody to second that motion?
Yes, Mayor, I'm happy to second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. Councillor Hyde, did you wish to address the council on the motion?
The Audit and Risk Committee is required to perform the function and responsibilities in line with the Charter and Guidelines. The Charter and Guidelines are required to be reviewed and adopted every 4 years, as we've done, so yeah.
Okay, Councillor Greenberger, did you wish to add to that?
Just to add, one of our most important committees to make sure that all of the risks that all of council businesses face are examined by a committee external to council Also to note that the Audit and Risk Committee is an advisory body. Council is the only group that make the decisions, and it's a kind of a checks and balances sort of put in place to make sure that we're well informed and that if there were any risks identified, that they would be mitigated post haste. So very encouraging to have that committee at our disposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. So any other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? Councillor Hyde, did you wish to sum up?
No, nothing further to add, thank you.
Okay, well, I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? Okay, that's unanimously carried. (9.5.7) Appointment of Audit and Risk Committee member.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Following on from the last motion, it is my pleasure to move that Council appoints Fiona Ray to the position of Audit Committee member for a 5-year term from November 2025 to November 2030.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. So just someone to second that motion?
I'm happy to second that motion, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. So, Councillor Greenberger, did you wish to address the council on the motion?
Oh, sorry. Yes, as I mentioned in the last motion, a very important committee, and council received the report that an external member of this committee resigned in April this year, and as a consequence of that, council has advertised for an appropriate replacement. The vacancy has been advertised in the local newspaper, seeking expressions of interest in accordance with the Audit and Committee Charter. Council received a number of inquiries regarding the vacancy, and any applications were reviewed and evaluated by the financial services people, and as a consequence, the appointment of Fiona has been recommended to council. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. So, Councillor Hyde, would you like to add anything to that?
No, nothing further to add, thanks.
Okay, any other councillor wish to speak for or against the motion? Just want to say I'm very looking forward to meeting Fiona Ray and welcoming her to our Audit Committee, Audit and Risk Committee. So, Councillor Greenberger, would you like to sum up?
No, nothing further to add. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, I'll put that to the vote. Those in favour? Okay, that's unanimously carried. Okay, so, oh my gosh, so now we're at item 10. So there's no notices of motion or rescission. We go to item 11, reports from councillors and committees. Councillor Emerson, would you like to start? Okay, Councillor Hyde?
I feel like I've said this 12 times now. Another busy month. I do want to acknowledge that on the 11th, at Remembrance Day with Councillor Greenberger and the Mayor, it was a lovely ceremony. Did I say 11th of May? No, 11th of November. Oh my gosh, sorry. 11th of November.
I think you might have, did I?
Yeah, I think I did too. The 11th of the 11th of the 11th. Also participated in meetings with regards to transmission lines renewables, and some of those meetings online, some in person. I did appeal again to the CEO of VicGrid, Alistair Parker, to provide funding directly for the wellbeing and mental health of our community. I made a very clear appeal to him this month. Attended meetings with DECA, Great Western's Futures Committee, AGM and General Meeting, where we heard about the progress of the statues that are going into the Memorial Park. So, Monday the 8th, next Monday, is also the Great Western Community Xmas Party at the Memorial Park from 6 p.m, and I understand Santa is making an appearance, but I also hear the Christmas lights competition is going to be highly competitive again this year. So I've already had a request from my children to drive around and inspect those myself, but I'm very much looking forward to joining the Great Western community there. Business After Hours in Store was on the 19th, which was lovely to hear from local businesses. And I also joined with the Mayor and Councillor Greenberger at the Store Library last Wednesday, where we had multiple groups attending the end of year celebration. And I also attended the Lake Fines Committee of Management AGM and General Meeting. And at the end of the month, a couple of days ago, the Mayor and myself were down in Melbourne for two engagements, but the one that was directly relating for us to go down there was for the Mayor and Deputy Mayor Leadership Program training, which is mandatory for statewide, and I found it extremely valuable, the full day there. Everything made sense this time, so I enjoyed it.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Councillor Blake?
Yeah, so I think it, as the same as Councillor Hyde was saying, we've been out and about a fair bit lately. SES, what a wonderful birthday they've had with the 60th year. Senior Citizens Day, fantastic. Best Winery had their Christmas break up on Friday night. I attended that and had a couple of glasses of cordial. But the other thing is I stood at the gate at Trent Carter's place the other day with all the other disgruntled landowners. But personally, I don't know what more we can do as a council, because we've all tried what we can. We've passed our motions, and it just gets to the stage where I really wish them the best of luck. They are standing strong, and I don't know where to from here. So I just hope they know we've got their backing, but at the same time, I'm not sure what else we can do. But anyway, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Blake. Councillor Greenberger?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. A couple of things to report. Firstly, following on from Councillor Jack's comments there about our farming community, I did attend a presentation up at Federation University in Horsham earlier this last month. The presentation was from a researcher there, Dr. Kathy Tischler, and she has done a research report entitled Understanding the Impacts of New Developments, Energy and Mining on Farmers in the Wimmera Southern Mallee. It is an incredibly important report because it does actually document the impact of these developments on our farming community. And in fact, it is a documentation of the negative impact on farmers' mental health. A quote from page 1. The research explores the impacts felt by farmers in navigating through a period of rapid change in expectations for agricultural land use. External pressures on the values, identity, and upheaval and mental health impacts external pressures on the values, identity and connection that agricultural producers and family farmers hold is resulting in significant upheaval and mental health impacts at individual level. The report has been passed on to the Victorian Government, the Department, and it has been identified in support of Northern Grampians Shire Council's request for funds to provide support. As Councillor Hyde mentioned, no funding has been received to this point. However, notwithstanding that, Northern Grampians Shire Council Community Wellbeing staff have initiated a collaborative group which includes the Victorian Farmers Federation, Grampians Community Health, West Wimmera Health, And they've formed a working group that have been meeting now for several months to address this issue, and a number of actions have actually already resulted where the resources have come out of council's pocket and these other organisations' pocket at this stage. And this has included an excellent information magnet to promote help seeking where it's needed and where to go for support. And the idea of the magnet is that it can be actually attached to the dash of the tractors and places that farmers actually go, to the shed wall, to the tractor and so on. So I think it's really important because, one, the research identifies that the need is very, very genuine, but also to know that, you know, there are things happening to provide support, probably not enough, and we could do so much more if the funding was made available. I actually spoke to Martha Haylett at another event I went to last week, and she undertook to speak to the department and Alistair Parker on our behalf once again. So the pressure's there. We'll see what happens. Also attended Remembrance Day in Stawell, the SES celebration that Councillor Blake mentioned, and the Stawell Library Thrive 50. And I really was quite not surprised, but very gratified with the numbers of people who are just making such fantastic use of that important council infrastructure resource. There's just two other things I wanted to mention. I had a very interesting meeting with the Pleasant Creek Cemetery, with the Stawell Historical Society, that Director Williams and I think was there. I don't think you were there, Director. No, Director Williams was there. And that we were discussing the record keeping of the grave sites for people at the cemetery. Of course, the Stawell Historical Society are interested in this from people seeking information, researching their family tree, and our staff members are also trying to create an accurate database of all of the records that go with the cemetery. And it was very interesting to hear that the numbers of the graves are all correct, but finding those graves in the cemetery is really quite a challenge. And they've actually been using old maps to identify where the graves are and correctly setting out the row numbers, etc., where they've had to make a couple of changes to try and make it possible for people to go and find a particular grave site. And I think it's, you know, work that is worth affirming, and certainly the Historical Society are very appreciative, and there was some conversation opened up about combining those resources and having one up-to-date correct database. We also met a gentleman who is making it his voluntary work to go and photograph all of the headstones and creating, again, a database of that information, which council staff said we'll be able to use on their database as well. And the final one is Women's Health Grampians, AGM. I believe we've had some training. I was away at the time with Claire Evans about the CORE Alliance, which Women's Health Grampians, it is their initiative. And that, so that was their annual general meeting held in Ararat. And they work to improve women's equality, health and wellbeing across the Central Highlands, Grampians, Pyrenees and Wimmera areas of Victoria. And we had some speakers from the Gippsland area where they were talking about a number of initiatives to improve women's health, and hopefully our own hospital and health services will be taking up those initiatives moving forward as well. So yeah, it's been a fantastic month. Thank you.
I won't go to everything I have written down here because a lot of double up, but we've had a lot of double up this month, haven't we? There's been a lot of things where there's been 2 or 3 things on at the same time. So thanks to all the councillors. I think we've always got somebody that has attended the meetings, even though we can't get often a couple of people, but at least there's been somebody, because we have had a lot of double up. But just one of the highlights, obviously, is, I know you've already said the Stawell SES Emergency Service 60 years celebration, and you know, you've got members there that have been there for 33 years plus, and just credit to them. They're always there when we need them, and where would we be without our Stawell SES? So it was really nice to go there and support them and have support 3 councillors went, so that was lovely. I also really did enjoy the business after hours, as Justine Hyde has already mentioned, at the club on the 19th. So we actually had Rowan Hines, the General Manager from Kraus Bricks, talk to us. And how interesting was that? It was really, really interesting. He's very, very educational. I learned a lot about bricks, a lot about their market. And it was just, I don't know, I think it's probably one of the standout guest speakers that we've had. It was really good, and it was also really good attendance. We had a lot of people, just general business people there as well, so it was a really great networking night. Also, just want to quickly mention the VLG Mayoral and Deputy Mayor Leaders Program that we both attended on the Friday. So it was a full day, 9:30 to 4:30. It was a very long day, and obviously that's why we went up the night before and stayed. But yeah, I got home and I was pretty well drained, didn't get home until 9 o'clock, so it was a really big day, but so important. It's really important to know what our roles and our duties are, and just talking about relationships and working together and communication, governance. There was lots and lots of things that were discussed. A great refresher for me to go over things and have those things reinforced in my mind. Great turnout, and also really great talking to other mayors and deputy mayors, and I think you get a lot of, just as much out of those things, networking and talking to other people, sometimes as you do with the program. But yeah, they run a good program, and I really did enjoy it, even though I came home fairly exhausted. But yeah, it was a really important thing, and it is mandatory, it is compulsory that we do go to those things. So also store gift event management, Murray, we had our AGM and meeting this month, and yeah, a lot goes into the store gift event management, a lot behind the scenes, also with Murray and myself, but yeah, it was a great AGM, very positive. The meeting was very positive, yeah, and it's going to be another positive year, I think, for the store gifts, the way things are shaping up, which is really, really good. So I'll leave it at that. I won't double up. There was lots of things that I probably went to as well, but yeah. So yeah, just busy generally, busy with phone calls and emails and everything else on top of it, but all good. So I just have a resolution that the reports be received. So Councillor.
Yes, Mayor, I move that reports be received.
Okay, does someone to second that?
Yes,
Thank you,
excellent.
Councillor Blake. Just to show of hands. Okay, that's unanimously carried. We have no urgent business. We do have public question time, but neither of the people were able to attend, so I'm just going to read the questions out on their behalf. So the first one is from Tanya Blair. Her question is, "Hi team, my name is Tanya Blair. I've sent an email today to Councillor Jenny Greenberger and Councillor Karen Heslop. My question request is for a sauna to be highly considered for the Sports and Aquatics Centre. The benefits are numerous, from heart health to improved sleep, just to name a couple. Due to work commitments, I am unable to attend the next meeting to discuss this." So we have, yeah, the question was given to us quite some time ago, so we do have Xander McDougall, will give a response.
Thank you. So Council has undertaken a comprehensive stage planning process for the Stawell Sports and Aquatics Centre, informed by community engagement and a feasibility study back in 2022. The redevelopment is structured into two big main projects. So project one is the aquatic redevelopment, which is classified as stage one, which is currently estimated at $28.5 million, which focuses on essential upgrades such as a new 25-metre indoor pool, modernised change facilities, improved accessibility and energy efficiency systems, where project two, the dry end redevelopment, is estimated at $14 million at this stage, which is planned for future expansion and includes allied health rooms, multi-purpose courts, a gymnasium and enhanced integration between the wet and the dry ends. While the plans do include a future spa as part of the aquatic upgrade, the sauna is not currently part of the proposed design. This approach reflects the need to prioritise core community needs and available funding as identified through the feasibility studies and community consultation. A key component of the project will be the detailed design of the facility, and if efficiencies can be made without impacting the key deliverables, a sauna might be achievable. But as mentioned earlier, there are other priorities that the community sought through the engagement process of the feasibility study. Thank you.
Thank you, Xander. And after her sending this question in, Councillor Greenberger, Xander and myself have had a meeting with Tanya and had a chat to her, which was lovely. So we have another question or three questions from Ross Hudson. So question 1, how much has been budgeted by Northern Grampians Shire Council for the 2025-26 financial year to provide the public with free access to the online community learning hub that utilises course content and technology provided by iClick2Learn? So Xander is going to give us a response again.
Thank you. So this program is fully grant funded through Emergency Recovery Victoria and requires no council contribution.
Thank you, Xander. The second question, what are the amounts of each separate budget item that are funded in the 2025-26 financial year to meet the operating costs for the public pools that Northern Grampians Shire is responsible for? Please detail them separately for each pool.
Thank you. So the Stall Sports and Aquatics Centre has a council contribution of $340,250 annually, and the Sanana Pool has a council contribution of $92,927.
Thank you, Xander. The last question, what are all the categories of attendance figures that are gathered for each pool funded by Northern Grampians Shire, and what have they been in the past 2 financial years, and is estimated for them this current financial year? So Xander will get you to answer that question.
Thanks, Mayor. So those figures aren't readily available, and we will respond to Ross in writing in due course. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you both to Tanya and Ross for your questions. So you'll also get a response in writing. Right, so that finishes our question time and our very lengthy council meeting agenda. So we now go to item 14, so closure of meeting pursuant to section 66(2)A of the Local Government Act 2020. And we have a recommendation there that the meeting be closed to consider. Yep.
I move that we proceed into closed council to discuss confidential matters. Section 66(2) of the Local Government Act 2020, as detailed in, section 3(1) of the Local Act 2020.
Thank you, Councillor Hyde. Someone to second that?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I second that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Greenberger. And Councillor, have any opposed to that recommendation? A show of hands, all those in favour? I can say that that's unanimously carried. We will now move into closed council.
Rightio, thank you, Mayor. Just reporting the three of the items in the closed council meeting. 14.1, the council takes up the second and final one-year option to extend contract C9 2022-23, provision of public convenience and facilities cleaning with the current contractor. 14.2, the council awards contract C25 015, St Arnaud's swimming pool upgrade to Hydrilla Pty Limited for the submitted lump sum price. 14.3, that council resolves to make a payment under the funding policy subject to a signed agreement to the satisfaction of the CEO. And then over to Director Williams.
Yes, the last item heard in closed council was 14.4, which related to the performance appraisal of the CEO, and the council adopted the interim performance appraisal for the CEO, Mr. Brent McAllister, for the period of March to October 2025.
Okay, there being no further business, I will declare the meeting closed at 1:51 p.m.